Hi, welcome to Gravity This Season. In this episode, we'll be addressing golf. Now with golf, there are so many people playing golf these days. Chances are you as a trainer have an incredible opportunity to market yourself with a golf-specific program. In our program today, our objectives that we're going to address are the most obvious issues with golf and people training to perform better out on the golf course. So number one, think about how unilateral golf is. We have a lot of imbalance issues that come out from people who are playing golf a lot, especially if you think the swing, the step pattern, the stance, everything is really happening on one side of the body. So with a good training program on the GTS, you now have the opportunity to balance that out for the person. You can make sure that they're not developing tighter muscles that could potentially lead to injury on one side without also strengthening the other side of their body. We're going to look at overall power increasing, just developing that strength and power. If you think about your drive and wanting it to get that much farther and go that much better for you, then power is going to be your friend. And we have some unique exercises with the GTS. You'll see how we can train for power. Also, how about flexibility? If we don't think about blending in some exercises that allow one side of the body to release while the other side works, then we're also not giving our body that full opportunity to develop in balance. So we'll have some exercises that even though they're working one side, they're actually letting you release and strengthen and lengthen the opposite side. So for total body conditioning, you'll see some exercises for power. We've got that covered. But also, lastly, we want to think about injury prevention. And in some of the joints that are used often, the wrists and the shoulders, by strengthening the muscles and the tendons and ligaments around those joints, we can help stabilize them and therefore decrease our risk of injury. So we're going to get right into the workout here. We've got our 2 days of workout. If you've been following the series, we give you a sample workout using our exercises. So I'm going to have Nicole come on in. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Trish. How are
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
I'm going to just set that there. We're going to go ahead and get set up here on the GTS. Now, our exercises, if you'll see on your list, you might see primary exercises, secondary exercises. Primary exercises are going to be those that directly relate to movements and the muscle groups used predominantly in golf. But secondary exercises are just as important. Those are going to allow us to keep that body in balance and develop total body conditioning. Now these have been blended into 2 separate workouts just to give you an idea of how you can mix these exercises together. We won't be doing a lot of repetition here, but we will in the program talk about sets and reps, which typically is going to be closer to 3 sets and 15 to 20 reps for each exercise. So use your regular training principles with your client, but just apply these workouts using them. Okay, I'm going to come around the other side here for Nicole. As you can see, she's doing a basic bilateral squat. This is our first exercise on day 1. What it's allowing us to do is give us a total body workout, or warm-up, get her really just going with the flow, get her comfortable on the GTS. But we are also training the quadriceps and the glutes. Very, very important for power. Even if you think you're swinging a club with your arms, the power's coming from your legs. From the squat, nice job, we're going to move our feet up a little, turn the toes out, and move right into a bridge squat. So the bridge squat is a tricky exercise for some of your clients to get. But what we're doing here, as you can tell, is Nicole is now challenging her core stability and being able to maintain a certain position with her trunk and her torso and still develop power and training through the legs. So it's a very nice controlled movement here. And just by changing the tempo, quicker, slower, that kind of thing, you can change the load on the muscles. Main thing is watch that as they do this exercise, the hips don't raise up higher. Okay, good job. So again, we had stability with mobility. That was a great exercise to train for that. Now the single leg lateral squat, go ahead and turn facing that way for me, and your left foot's going to come in the front corner. Okay, moving towards the back, especially if you're training men who have a little bit harder time scooting back on the glide board. They worry about falling off. You just want to make sure they're as far back as they can be to give them that length in front. We want the knee to be tracking over the foot but not going past the toe. Unilateral training here of the legs. Think about the transfer of the load when you're hitting the golf ball from one leg through to the other. So we want to have strength all the way through, from start all the way through to the end. Good. So single leg lateral, again, developing glutes. Those are your power muscles. We really want to hit those in our workout. Nice. Also getting some good knee stability challenge there. So from single leg lateral squat, we're going to move out of our leg workout. Not completely, but you'll see what I mean in just a moment. We're going to go into some exercises using the pulleys. So I'm actually going to go down just a little lower for Nicole on this one, because you're going to see, we also want to come down. Actually, you're kneeling, so we can stay up there. I am going to have Nicole perform this exercise kneeling, so watch, make sure she anchors in. You always want to check that with your clients. Okay, so before we start, just remember, this position is a pretty advanced position. Any client of yours that's not comfortable being in a high kneeling position, you could put the support wedge pillow behind them, or they could go down to low kneeling, or even go to seated. But Nicole's our advanced athlete here today. You are, you didn't know that, but you are. So we're gonna work from a high kneeling position. So from here, we're gonna go into a reverse fly. Good. Now I still have the pins on the inside, because Nicole, being rather petite, that will work for us. If you have somebody with a longer arm span, then you definitely want to move your pin placement to accommodate that. So this is a very basic, slow and controlled reverse fly. Really great for developing the back of the arm and the upper back of the shoulder. These are the muscles that help with deceleration of that swing. So it's important for us to remember we need to have control in our deceleration, not just our acceleration. So we could go one arm at a time, two arms. There's a lot of variations you can do with that. Right from there, I'm going to have you go into a kneeling upright row. Now, we're on pin placement 3, so if I really wanted to emphasize the upright motion for the shoulders, what I would do is drop the pin placement down. But even here, as long as we watch the wrist and make sure it doesn't come higher than the elbow, we can still focus on the upper back here. So these are your power muscles that will drive your swing as well as control the deceleration. They're going to be working simultaneously with the front of the body. So we do need to get the back and the front equally. Good. And as Nicole showed, even with this exercise, we can go to that unilateral variation, which allows us to control if we need to load one side a little more than the other to get our balance. Okay, bicep curl, you're already in position. Just bring it right up. Good. And I don't need to talk about the importance of strong biceps in your swing. But I am still emphasizing her core stability and her core strength. And notice also her quads are actually engaged as well, because she's having to stabilize from her knees all the way up while she works with the arms. So it's a really great way to get stability with mobility. Nice, thank you. And then all our variations, you can just make it fun for them, change it up, give them something different they haven't done, like static equilibrium. Nice. Okay, so this one's a little different. You might not have seen this one. You're gonna go, actually, you go ahead and anchor down and step off. I wanna lower the pin placement here. Okay. And this is another exercise you're gonna wanna be on a nice low level with. I'm gonna have you use just that handle, okay, actually. So you're in a kneeling position, like to do surfer lat pull. Okay, you're gonna sit down on your heels. You're gonna put the handle in the opposite hand, okay? So now from here, go ahead and lower down, lowering your chest onto the legs. Yep, if you bottom out, just change your position, because you do wanna start with an open glide board. Good. Now from there, as you come up, you're gonna come up and open it out and across. Nice. And you can start low, or you can start and then go even a little bit higher as you progress through it. Good. That's going very dynamic. Once you get it, you can add in lowering and raising yourself up on your knees. But you can even just stay down low with it. Just depends what you're comfortable. Watch for this, because this is definitely working the back of the shoulder and the upper back. If you see people compensating a lot, leading with the elbow and extending the triceps, then you might lower down that level. Good job. Good. And another great thing I love about it is it really gives us a chance to train the back side of the arm. So much of golf is front, but we need the back as well, as I've said, and one arm at a time. So weak arm, strong arm, we can adjust to that. Okay, so our next exercise is going to be our cross-body pullover crunch. Good. That last exercise, just one more point, if you notice we were getting some good trunk extension. So that's fantastic for getting the power of the development to lift with your posture. So much is twisting and crunching down to the front, so we like that counterbalancing of the extension. Okay, so our pullover crunch, this might be a little low for you. Yeah? Actually, why don't you put your feet down just for a second? I'm also going to bring you up, pin placement here. Remember, the GTS has 6 pin placements. Make sure you're using all of them, because whether to emphasize the angle, we'll let you stay down there. You've been working hard today. Whether you need to emphasize the line of pull or the angle or the body size of your client, make sure you're utilizing those pin placements. Good, so basic pullover crunch, we need the combination of upper body strength with abdominal strength. That's integral in golf. So working side to side, we get right away into the rotation and that crunch. Remember what I said, we got a lot of power with rotation and flexion. So legs down, or what I like, legs can come up and we do our cross body. You could warm them up with a few basic ones, then we really go into the cross body because this is, again, going to mimic the unilateral nature of golf. Good. Weak side, strong side, both sides get hit with this exercise. All right, nice. So bring your feet back down for me after this one. Good, arms are extended. We're going to do the supine shoulder adduction, otherwise known as the iron cross. Dun dun. Yeah, sounds pretty serious. All right, this one you want to have a lot of control. Remember we talked about is we want to increase strength and stability in the joint. Sorry about that. Without overstraining it. So it is possible for your client to go above shoulder height and actually get some impingement of the deltoid, and we don't want that. So very nice control that Nicole has here. The easiest thing to do is just to stand with your client and make sure they're right there. Good. So again, stabilizing and strengthening that shoulder. Very nice, very nice. Good. You can make it harder if you wanted to by lifting one leg or both legs. So again, those are some of your variations. Okay, good, thanks. Go ahead and let yourself up. We're going to turn around and do the forearm curl. Now the forearm muscles are extremely important. Wrist issues become very apparent for people who have weak forearms. It's not something people spend a lot of time on because maybe they think it's sort of a wimpy exercise, but it actually is very crucial for grip strength. If you want to have consistent grip strength and club speed for your swing, then you really, throughout the whole round, not just 1 or 2 holes, then you need to make sure you're also including some good forearm exercises. So very simply, just make sure the focus is right there. It's not a lot of song and dance with this one, but it is such an integral exercise for golfers. You can also turn the palms over and you could do a little bit of the reverse. Same thing, good. I would recommend doing both front and back. Okay, good. You could do one arm at a time just to give them a chance to see. Maybe they're weaker on one arm and they don't have as much range of motion in that joint. This would be a way to work on that. Okay, nice. From here, go ahead and anchor down and get into a kneeling position for surfer lat pull, please. All right, kind of in keeping with the one arm cross body pull back with the extension, the trunk extension. Good. So you're going to keep this nice and long. Good, and come up all as one. Good, coming all the way up. So I want to see that come from here, this extension here, so not quite so much rounding here. Keep this solid, keep that solid, good. Now, I'm going to grab my club. Don't worry, Nicole, I'm not going to hit you with it. But here's a great little tool right here. So hold on here, your ponytail's there, but I'm going to do what I can. Now, if I had contact here, I want you to go down and maintain the same contact. So this way, if she pulls away, we know that now she's rounding out here. So what we need is maybe to not go quite as far or drop your head a little bit. There we go. Now look at that alignment and then come back up again. Okay? Good. So try that one more time. So again, you want the movement to come from your lumbar spine. Good. As much as you can, trying to keep that contact consistent and then come back up. Good. It's just an extra way you could use maybe a prop if you happen to have one close by. A wooden dowel rod or something would work just as well. Okay, so surfer lat pull, keeping it very controlled, but it's a good combination movement where we're getting torso, arms, back, everything all together. Okay, so good job, Nicole. That was day 1, giving you a good idea of a comprehensive workout you could start your golf incline on. And in just a second, you're going to see day 2. So here we are at day 2 with our Gravity This Season golf program. Nicole's going to be helping me out again. Thanks, Nicole. So we're going to start with a pull-up, which is such a great body conditioning exercise for the upper body, especially the back and those lats. We want to develop nice, strong lats. They're going to help us with our swing. We think a lot about the front of the body, but the back is really an integral part of the movements that we do in golf. So a typical 2-arm bilateral pull-up is perfect. We can do variations with some power. I think your clients will really enjoy that. Anything that makes them feel a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more excited there with it, they'll like that. Or even as we talk about the unilateral issues we have with golf, we can come up with 2 arms and lower with 1 arm. You would even be able to lower the glide board to an appropriate level and just have your client do 1-arm pull-ups. Utilize that GTS as best fits the needs of your client, okay? Address those imbalances and the strength issues. Great, good job. So that's our pull-up. We're gonna go ahead and have Nicole get up. We're going to adjust the GTS and attach the pulleys. Lowering the incline as well so that we can go to a kneeling. Actually, I'm gonna have you just use this handle. So why don't you step over to this side. We're gonna do the kneeling decline torso rotation. Let me go ahead and raise this up for you. Good. So always being careful to anchor in. Okay, so we're gonna go for our decline torso rotation. Now this is tricky to do without bending at the waist, but we are trying to stay slightly downward. So you might even lift your arms a little bit here, and then as you go, pull down. Now I understand that our pulley starts here, our line of pull starts here, but we can fake it just a little bit to start with a little bit of height so that we get that slight downward movement. Good. So using this to help with that backswing, controlling the movement, developing the power and the strength and rotation. Again, what you're going to find is your golfers are very strong on one side in rotation, but they're probably going to be fairly weak on the other. We also want to do this balance to prevent low back injury. Good, so that's our decline. Now go ahead into incline. Good, and now if I really wanted to make it more incline, I would go ahead and lower the pin down. Nicole's doing fine from here, still making it an incline. So working on that swing power and strength that's going to come all the way from the hips up. So we've got stationary hips, rotating torso, and shoulder girdle. Everything happening up there, nice. Very common movement in golf, but a great way that we can train for specificity right here. Okay, good. Now, kneeling shoulder, external rotation. From here, you can stay right there. You're gonna put it in this hand, great, and you're just gonna open from there. Now, I think I might put you down a level if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just because we really wanna protect the shoulder girdle while we're training it. We wanna strengthen it to increase stability and strength and power, and we definitely don't wanna overload it. Good. So if your client is having trouble with this, you could put a towel or something here for them to hold on to. Nice, watching for that nice straight wrist. So this is going to, again, strengthen the shoulder girdle. Okay, good. So incline single arm exercise, we want to move back into our flies. So we're going to work on chest right here. So you can go ahead and just put it, yep, in that hand and start from there, and then you're going to bring it across. Good. We want to move it towards an incline slightly. Good. Going up and down. Good. Excellent. Going up and going down. Good. So again, we've got some rotation happening. The rotation is not quite as important as the fly. So make sure they're still getting the adduction work at the chest. The rotation would be just a little added benefit to make it a little bit more lifelike for your golfers. Okay, working the chest. From here, I'm going to have you do internal shoulder rotation since we're in the right hand here, and just rotating inward. So again, training all sides of that shoulder cuff so that we get the balance that we need to work on injury prevention as well as increasing the strength for our swing. Good. Okay, nice. So from here, can you go ahead and change to the other arm? We're gonna do horizontal shoulder abduction. So straight arm. Now, doing all of these exercises kneeling adds an incredible amount of challenge in her core stability and strength. Just like being out on the golf course, you need to be able to have that stability and that strength while you're moving the extremities. So we're training for that just by putting Nicole in the kneeling position. Good. As you can see, she's moving through different variations, really working into the back of the arm and the shoulder and the upper back with that horizontal shoulder abduction. Good, nice. One more. Excellent with the incline there. Okay, go ahead and anchor down and step off. Okay, I'm gonna take off the pulleys. We're gonna move into hamstring curls here, so we're also gonna bring it up a notch. All right. Good. Now, just because there isn't the running involved in golf that we see in football and soccer, for example, or other sports, we still really need to address the leg muscles from a balance perspective. So starting with just a basic ham curl first to get your rhythm. Make sure they feel comfortable with the basic hamstring curl, because we are going to need power in those legs for our swing. That includes the hamstrings, the quads, and actually all the way down to the ankle. So from there, now go ahead and add a crunch with it. Nice. Always making sure they're not pulling with the top. So adding the crunch with the hamstring curl together makes it a compound exercise that really lends itself to the demands that the body's going to need. Now go ahead and add some rotation on your next one. From here, we can even add in rotation, and that adds a whole new element that's going to be a little bit more familiar for your golfer, all the torso rotation requirements that we have. But you're getting that forward flexion and that strengthening with the legs at the same time. Good. So getting some good power in the legs with movement in the upper body too. From here, I'm going to have you just lower the glide board. So sit up. Actually, I'll just have you, lower the glide board and stay right there. Okay, and we want to drop you down, so you're going to stand up one. Drop you down to that, good. So we've got our prone reverse fly. I might actually bring Nicole down one more because I want you to see this is a very challenging exercise. So, pin placement, very important. We want to make sure we're even on both. Okay, so Nicole's going to be lying in a prone position. We're going to be doing this movement in essence. Is a pulling down, it's going into a reverse fly, but with some torso extension. So I'm actually going to have you not kneeling, but lying down on the glide board. So you can adjust yourself down, good. You can always bend your knees if you're more comfortable. So starting position. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take a second just to change something here. I'm going to lower the pins even one more. If Nicole was staying in a kneeling position, then pin placement 2 would be fine. But since I had her come all the way down to a prone position, I'm going to lower those pins to pin placement 1. Good. So palms turn out. Now this is a simultaneous movement. As she's pulling back and out behind her, down to her side, she's going to come up. Very nice. So we call this a compound movement because it's obviously working not just the arms and the shoulders, working into the back, the upper back, but we also get all the way down to the lumbar spine for that spinal extension. Very nice. Good. So again, our prone reverse fly, we need to think about back injuries. A lot of lower back injuries come out with golfers. So by adding exercises like this, we can help train to prevent those. Okay, one more. Very nice. Thank you. How'd that feel? Great. Good? She said fantastic. That was the best exercise. It's my new favorite. Okay, good job. Now detaching the pulleys, we're going to finish up here with our lunges. A couple of lunges here. We have a lot of balance issues that come out in golf. So we're going to start with the incline lunge. Now I'm keeping it low. That makes it more challenging, remember? So an incline lunge, one leg on, one leg off. As she slides forward, the back knee drops, the heel comes up. This is a balance challenge. There's a lot of balance issues in golf. You are constantly unevenly loaded in your legs. So by doing an exercise like this, you've got a big benefit because you're only working one leg at a time. Good. Now just watch going too deep. You don't want to drop below that knee. And as you can see, people can do that on the GTS, so you just got to watch that for them. Good. Now I could introduce a medicine ball or something just because they don't usually use a ball in their sport like that. I mean, we're more familiar with that for things like football or soccer or volleyball or basketball. But here it would have a lot of benefit as well. We can add that load. You can move it up, you can move it side to side, anything to add the challenge. Okay, but again, we're developing strength in the legs, power all the way into the glutes. Nice. Reverse lunge, we're just going to turn right away and do the same thing in the opposite direction. And dropping down and up. Good. Watching the knee, that the knee tracks over the foot. Okay, there also, if you can see, there's a lot of movement happening in Nicole's foot right now. That's showing you the ankle stability and strength that you're also improving. We don't even think about that. But in golf, it's very important to go all the way to the ground, all the way up to the hip. All of those muscles need to be addressed. So an exercise like this will do that for you. Again, the ball concept, if I had that, I could stand here. See, balance issue. You could get your golf club and have them just hold the golf club and they don't have their hands for balance. If you want to use a prop like that, dowel rod or a ball or anything. Good. Right. Nice. So that's our day 2 workout with golf. As you can see, we want a comprehensive workout for our clients. We want them to feel stronger, more powerful out on the golf course, and we want to keep them from getting those injuries that are very common with golf. Hopefully with this program, you'll be on a good start to helping your clients get there.